Today on the channel, the Grapplers and Gimmicks are finally here, and today we're taking a look at Smoke Train Charles Wright, and don't call me Ahmed Johnson, Tony Norris.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another retro wrestling figure unboxing and review. And today we've got two figures from the Grapplers and Gimmicks wave. We got Charles Wright, aka the Godfather, and don't call him Ahmed Johnson, call him Tony Norris. And of course, we're going to do this review like we do all the other reviews on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging, we're going to talk about it, we're going to unbox it, we're going to talk about it, we're going to see where it goes from there. And this is another one of the many retro lines finally putting figures out, and we've got to give a shout out, I guess, to the old hustle man, old Hassel Toys, getting this done. There's been a lot of joking around on the internet and things like that, but at the end of the day, we haven't unboxed these yet. We haven't seen the quality, all that kind of stuff, but at the end of the day, he really did get after it. He really got these to the market extremely fast compared to his competition, and there's definitely something to be said about that. There's definitely some hustle going on, that is for sure. So there should be a little bit of he should be able to kind of do a little victory dance, I guess we'll say, and say, hey, you guys said it wouldn't happen. Well, here we are. And for what I've seen so far, I like the looks of these. And we've talked about these before on the channel. I always think of Zombie Sailor kind of being a little bit more high end of a Hasbro. Looks like a Hasbro, but doesn't look like a Hasbro a little bit. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. You tell me in the comments below. Where these Grappler and Gimmicks figures feel a little bit more Hasbro-like to me, at least in the looks department. They just have some of that shine to them. I don't know how to explain it, but that's at least my first impressions there. And then you have some like KWK. We haven't seen any figures yet, but what we've seen from some of the samples, those almost look like the evolution of the Hasbro line. And then Cella Toys, Epic Toys, kind of all over the map at this point from what we've seen quality-wise. So there's a lot of different retro figures, and I forgot to mention Mattel, of course, as we do know back in the game. So it's a different animal between all these different lines. Mattel, as of right now, are the only ones that have the working action features. Obviously, the Mattel, bigger company, they can afford to do that kind of stuff. A little bit tougher for some of these smaller companies to make that happen. But an interesting go-to-market strategy here and a quicker turnaround than expected. We're getting accustomed to, with a lot of these smaller wrestling companies, waiting a year, 2 years, 3 years for a product. Well, I don't remember with the time frame. What is time, as we always do say. But it feels like it was only maybe 6 months ago we ordered this one. So a pretty good turnaround, but let's see how the quality is. That's where it goes. But I will say, first off, looking at the package, very cool packaging between these two. Now, this is the first one that was announced. This is like the number one. And maybe it's different, and I guess if you look at the back of the package here, and we'll do that, the packaging is different because this is technically Series 1. This is a standalone figure, but packaging uniformity would have been nice. It's not the end of the world, though. At least they're the same size card, all that kind of stuff, so I do like that. But Smoke Train Charles Wright, he is the first one here. Of course, we know him as the Godfather. Of course, that's dancing around legalities. I get it there. It makes sense. You got the Grapplers and Gimmicks logo in kind of the old school Monday Night Raw font there. Love the little Hasbro cell. Very old school, very nostalgic for that. Big glamour shot at the top. Of course, the bubble right there with the old smoke train right there. He's got a little cane action. And then on the bottom here, it says Hassel Toys and Collectibles down at the bottom. Looking good. And then the back, though, is where a lot of the magic happens. Of course, ages 18 and up on this one. But look at that. Everybody that pre-ordered this got their name back here. And I'm somewhere right here in the middle when I pre-ordered. I don't know if that's in order of how people pre-ordered or not, but you can pause the video and you can check out, find your name, find some name you might be familiar with, who knows. And it looks like at the top of the package here, it looks like he's got his whole family up there, which is interesting for sure, but it does say special thanks to Charles Wright, Carl Jenkins, Joe Sibley, Sal from Rush, Dave Cummings, Jedi Jack Yeti. I like that name. And then, of course, his family, and I believe those are the people that are all up here. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I think that is correct. Ages 18 and up. Got a QR code on here. It does say Series 1 on here, so is this part of Series 1? It's not on the cross-sell for Tony Norris. I guess you go back and forth there. Warning, choking hazard may contain breakable, sharp, and or small parts. It does say Series 1 once again, and of course Grapplers and Gimmicks is where you go to pre-order these bad boys at. Bone Street Crew, it has that on there as well. A lot of names back here. I'm not sure if this is everybody that ordered this product or if it's just some that got in the window there, but a good amount of names on the back of this package here. And like I said, I'm right there kind of in the top middle if you're looking for me for whatever reason. But let's get them out of the package. I'm going to try to do this very nicely. I'm going to try to get it out as clean as possible. And it looks like Kyle's up to his rookie moves again. I was hoping I could get the whole bubble out. Oh, can I get it? Can I get it? Let's see. Let's see. I'm trying not to just absolutely wreck the pack. There we go. There we go. That's right. I still got it. I still got it at the end of the day. So there's the old package. Gonna get the old see you later. Now we do have an accessory here with old Godfather. Oh my gosh, I was expecting this to be hard plastic. This is very kind of rubbery plastic. Definitely can be moved around, things like that. But it is a brown cane here for the old Godfather. I'm just gonna call him the Godfather because come on, it's the Godfather. But a brown cane here looking really nice there. No issues with this accessory. Of course, Hasbro's back in the day, they came with some selected accessories. Godfather should as well, so that does work for me. Now we get the old Godfather. We get the old smoke train out of the package here. Oh my gosh, I was going to say, is there no waist articulation? I was kind of stuck in paint, but there is waist articulation on him. You got that classic arm elbow movement there. Arm goes all the way around on the left side, head back forth, side to side, and that is it for articulation, but kind of on brand for the Hasbro's back in the day. Interesting looking. I feel like the pictures had maybe more shine to them. I don't know. You never know with pictures. Pictures say 1,000 words, maybe. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But not a super shiny figure like I was anticipating. I don't want to say it looks like a custom either. It's somewhere in between a shiny Hasbro and a custom, I guess. Definitely looks mass-produced compared to a custom you'd buy from somebody on their Etsy store or wherever it may be. But let's start this off. Of course, you got the green hat. You got a little feather sculpted in there. Hat is not removable for the Godfather. Neither is his silver glasses going on. He does got a cigar. It's an interesting cigar because it's way down to the end there. It almost looks a little bit strange. I could see somebody at first glance saying, what is that in his mouth? Especially if you don't know the character. Maybe he's got a little piece of beef jerky there. Maybe he's got a big mole on his face. Who knows what's going on? But it's supposed to symbolize a cigar. He's got his face paint. Face paint? No, it's not Papa Shango here. He's got his goatee on there. So the goatee does look good. He's got his black hair. I don't see any paint imperfections on mine anywhere. There's no paint splatter or anything like that. Beautiful paint job for this. We do got the tattoos on him, and once again, you got the skull stuff. A little bit more detail maybe than his Hasbro, and of course, we'll compare it to his Hasbro here later on in this video. Got the purple vest and the black undershirt, the bright orange pants. Man, he looks like something that walked out of a 70s exploitation movie is what he looks like right here today. Got the big old fist of fury on the side. You got the arm that moves back a little bit dislocated there. You can move it back maybe just a hair too far back. But I guess it is what it is there. You do got a hole in this hand here, which does fit his cane, of course. Cane slides in. Nice fit on this cane. I'm here for that. There's nothing worse than an accessory that falls out, especially on little figures like this. This cane's not going anywhere from him, so that is very nice. Black shoes on the old Godfather himself down here. Not bad. Not bad for a first impression here. It doesn't have kind of that smooth shine. I don't know. Shine isn't a feel, but smoothness is. It is definitely smooth feeling, but not as glossy smooth maybe as Zombie Sailors, things like that. So all in all, not a bad first take right here. I'm not going to lie and say the Godfather is my favorite wrestler of all time. But for what this is, I think he nailed it. I think he nailed what he was trying to do. And I guess, you know, as long as you fulfill what you're trying to do, what you're trying to make, the way you're trying to make them, you got to say it's a success. So I don't really have any issues with this figure at all. There's no issues to be said. It is a good representation of the Godfather in the Hasbro style. So there you go, right there, the old Godfather doing good father things right here today. Now, the one I'm a little bit more excited for is, of course, Ahmed Johnson. It's been a heck of a long time since we've had an Ahmed Johnson figure, as we all do know. We got some back in the Jax days, and it's been pretty quiet ever since. Sounds like there's a little bit of a renaissance coming out, as we do know Zombie Sailor also has an Ahmed coming out in the Hasbro style. We'll see how that ends up going. If I was Zombie, I'd wait like 3 or 4 years. Let these be off and sold and be done with. You got plenty of people to release. Release them first, and then 4 years from now, let's say, there'll be people that missed out on this. This is long gone. Hey, I need an Ahmed. I need an Ahmed. That's what I would do, but I'm not Zombie, so there you go. But there's old Ahmed, Tony Norris. I'll probably just call him Ahmed. It works better for me. Same kind of packaging, different color flavor, a little bit more Hasbro feel to the packaging, no doubt about it. Got the bubble window right here. Of course, the Grapplers and Gimmicks logo as well. Got that old school kind of Hasbro artwork. You got the nice autograph there for old Tony Norris. You got Hassel Toys down there. Did he sign it, Tony Norris? Yes, he did. Tony Norris. Real vintage style figure with Powerhouse Plunge. Officially licensed product. You got a little cartoon of old Hassel Toy down there, old the Hustle Man. Ages 18 and up, Grapplers and Gimmicks. It does look good. He is very dark. Ahmed was always very dark, and he definitely is. I could see this one not showing up the best in some pictures, but it does look good from what I'm seeing so far. Now, on the back of the package here, of course, got the big back, and I love that it is black and white like old school Hasbro. Got the QR codes down there. Meet your Hassel Toy team. Creative lead, Mitch. Concept artist, Joe Sibley. Action art, Carl Jenkins. Figure sculpt, Dave Cummings and Sal from Rush Collectibles. Hopefully we get some of those Rush Collectibles ones. Those monster figures, man, that's right up my alley. I'm just on the fence. I just need something to pull the trigger. Something to make me pull the trigger on those. Packaging design, Sean Cowan and Sal from Rush Collectibles once again. 2023, made in China. Shout out to China. Sure, why not? Grapplers and Gimmicks design team is dedicated to producing figures in the spirit of the ones we all know and love. We hope our mindful efforts make you feel as if the original line never ended. You got a little of that artwork there, kind of that Ron Rudat style drawings back there for old Tony Norris. You got the collect 'em all. Tony Norris, Juan Riviera, of course, Savio. Nelson Frazier Jr., of course, that would be Mabel. And then it does show Mark Canterbury, of course, from the Godwins fame. So we do have those going on back there. But an interesting back packaging. But without further ado, let's get old Tony Norris out of the package here. And I'm trying to do it gently. Oh, fell off the card. Bam, see you later off the screen. There it goes. But we got old Tony Norris. See you later. Goodbye. And now we got old Ahmed Johnson. How about this? Now, I don't have any issues with this figure out of the package either. Maybe it's not quite as glossy as I expected it to be. I felt like it was going to be a little bit more glossy, but it does have a little bit of a shine to it. Maybe that's just kind of reflection off the lights a little bit. But it's not as glossy as the pictures did show, at least in my estimation. But it is still fine, and it does kind of have the same feel as the Godfather does, which it should. It's the same line, of course, at the end of the day. But definitely looking good. Arms go all the way around here. You got the waist side to side. You get the head side to side. That's it for articulation. He's kind of in the Ultimate Warrior 3 Hasbro position style, which is always a big powerhouse, and that is Ahmed all day. This would be a great one. I always think back to when I was a kid, of course. The playability of this Ahmed figure would be great in your Fig Fed. You know, every time you get a jumper, you're like, there's only so much stuff you can do with the jumper. Ahmed has a lot of playability if you're putting it back in that age. Definitely does look good. The only gripe I have really with this one is maybe the hands or arms maybe could have been just a hair longer. Just a hair longer, but that is nitpicking really at the end of the day because we know Hasbro, their sizing, everything was all over the place. Some guys would, like Jim Neidhart would have a little peanut head. Bret Hart would have a massive head. So there was inconsistencies in that line. But a little bit longer on the arms. Not a lot longer, just a little bit. Now, like I said, that is a nitpick of all nitpicks. Looks like Ahmed in the face and the head. Got his earrings in there. That was a big part of Ahmed, of course. You got the two eyes like Ahmed had. He had two eyes. So do I. We got a lot in common. He just got the goatee as well. Big barrel chest going there. And then you got all the red padding. He always looked like a crash test dummy on the bottom half there. He'd always be wrapped up and all this stuff. Looking good in red. Of course, when you think of old Ahmed, this would be the most iconic look that he would have. He's got two fists of fury. He is not messing around at all. No accessories with Ahmed Johnson, like I said, either. We weren't really expecting it. I don't even know what you would have with him there. Maybe a board, a 2x4 or something like that. I did forget to mention no peg holes in the feet on these. On the feet. Oh, the feet. But no peg holes. Doesn't really need them, of course, as he stands just fine. As you see, the old smoke train Godfather stands really good as well. But no real issues with this either. I mean, it is what it is. It is Tony Norris. It is Ahmed Johnson. It's a long time coming, as we do know. Scale-wise, about the same height there. I think Godfather's probably a couple inches taller than Ahmed, but once again, kind of goes back to that retro scaling. There really wasn't a scale back then, but not too shabby. I think for a first take, and we're going to count since they both came out at the same time, I'm pretty impressed with this line for what it is. I am very impressed how quick the turnaround was on this. Usually these things have been taking years. If the hustle man here can get these turning and burning on a fairly regular basis, maybe one a month, maybe one or two a quarter, maybe one a quarter, something like that, but continual product coming out on a consistent basis, I think that is the key to any successful line. You can't release a figure or two figures in this case, wait 6 months, wait for another one. You lose some of that momentum along the way. And I love the Zombie Sailor figures, but man, it's a momentum killer. And then you get people chirping out left and right saying, where's the product? Where's the product? We got to keep things rolling on a steady stream. You just got to do that. That's going to be key for these smaller companies like the old Hustle Man and the Hastel Toys and the Grapplers figure line right here. But I'm very excited for some of the future ones as well. Duke the Dumpster Drosy, the Godwins look really good. Of course, Men on a Mission. So we got some good stuff in the pipeline here, and you guys know I'm going to be here for it. Now let's do a little comparison action here. I did mention Zombie Sailor. Zombie Sailor definitely looks a little bit more high-end, but once again, it's going for a different audience, different look than what these are going for. So you can compare them, but they're not quite apples to apples. They're close. They're very close, but not quite. But you can kind of see that right there. There's old Matt Cardona himself. How about a little Mattel retro? I grabbed Lex Luger of all things for some reason, but there's old Lex Luger. You can kind of see the scaling. It kind of all fits in the same world a little bit there. Now we got the Cella Toys, Gangrel, of course. Everybody loves a little Gangrel, Bloody Edition. Got to have the blood there, of course. Looking pretty good there. And then finally, I got old Papa Shango. I figured I'd bring Papa Shango out, put him next to old Smoke Train himself. Definitely some differences between these two, but he did get the tattoos on the chest. Tattoos on the arms. Yep. So we do got a little nod to the past there, which I don't know if it's really a nod to the past. It's just the Godfather's tattoos, really, at the end of the day. But there's a Murders lineup there of course, retro-style figures of what we're dealing with. Of course, waiting for Rush Collectibles to have figures, hopefully sooner rather than later. We do know those should be shipping fairly soon. I did order the Larry Zabisco, Roadblock, and Jonah figures, so those should be coming fairly soon. So we'll do this kind of same comparison when those do come. But for the first take here from the Grapplers and Gimmicks, man, I'm here for this. I would say this did meet my expectation, and in some ways blew away my expectation. The only drop negative I have on this is maybe they're not as shiny as they looked in pictures, but it's not deal breaker, not the end of the world. So very, very good figure right here. I'm here for this. But what say you guys and gals out there? You picking this one up? You playing the long game? Let me know in the comments down below. Of course, you made it this far. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the old notification bell as we got videos every single day. Even more content for you on the Patreon. Of course, Patreon, your best way to support the channel. You can also support the channel over at ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson, and don't forget social media, SirPaul64 on Twitter, Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson. So for Tony Norris and the Smoke Train, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.